Hi, everyone. My name is Erin Elizabeth Weinberg. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you are new here. Today is September 9th, the 9th of September, 9/9. So we have a very quick angel messages reading for you. This is just a really quick 10-minute reading, pick a card reading, just for some nice little fun reading on angel number day. Okay, so I have 4 groups for you today. You can go ahead and pick by the card you can see, the number, the sound of my voice, group 1, 2, 3, or 4. When you're ready, all the timestamps are below, and I will see you at the reading that you chose. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's for everyone who picked group number 1. So you all pick the card, Being Enough. The innermost heart says you are enough, nowhere to go, nothing to get, nothing to change, no need to grow more deserving. You, yes, you are love. That's a really nice message, okay? And so sometimes we think if I think I'm enough, or I think I'm whole on my own, or I'm complete on my own, or whatever, that we will not like push ourselves to grow or change or to want to expand in that way. But the truth is, once we know we're enough, then we create that peace and that acceptance of self and that inner awareness so that we can grow and change in these ways, right? It's like once we accept ourselves, that's when we're free to grow and change, and not the opposite way. So for you all in group 1, I think being enough, this could be in general, but also could be maybe in a specific area of your life where I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not lovable enough, I'm not, whatever. Okay. All of that is not true. You're more than enough right now and always. And it's this paradox, the spiritual truth, right? We're all enough and we're all good enough right now. And we all, of course, can always continue to grow and change and like become these more evolved, healthy versions of ourselves, right? So being enough, just kind of checking in with yourself and just saying, okay, well, in what area of my life can I be a little more kind to myself? What area of my life can I offer like a little bit more compassion and care and understanding? And remembering, like this card says, like you have nothing to go, nowhere to go, nothing to get, nothing to change. Again, doesn't mean that you suddenly lose all your ambition or you don't have any plans to grow or change or you don't want to like make your life better. Okay, of course, that's not what we're saying, but this is just a reminder that once you accept you're enough as you are right now, then it is easier for us, everyone, to grow and change and like push ourselves to become that next version of ourselves. And to, the change comes from like a place of deep love and care within ourselves instead of like change so I can love you better, right? The change comes from a place of like, I'm already enough. And so I know I can grow and expand in these ways that are healthy and contribute to like my wholeness. And I just want to expand and be better, not I'm fundamentally flawed, so I need to be different, then I'll be deserving, because that's just a loop that keeps us stuck and is not helpful, of course. So being enough. Okay, I'm gonna pull 3 tarot cards for you now, group 1. Okay, so we have the King of Wands, 7 of Swords, and 8 of Swords for you. Okay, so I feel like this is really echoing, of course, this message of being enough here. That we have this King of Wands is, king energy, regardless of your gender. This is really clear energy about like on the throne, I made it, I'm the king. I have, Wands suit is about passion, it's about clarity, it's about this is who I am, this is what works for me, this is what's going on with all of that, right? And then this 7 of Swords into the 8 of Swords, I feel like these cards are a little bit about confusion. 7 of Swords is about knowing like not everything can come with you. You have to leave some things behind. Sometimes it can be about deception, but I'm not really getting that energy right now. It feels more for me of just being like, you feel like you can't be your full self, right? So this is really who you are in your heart. You know that you're this full, abundant person. You have multidimensionality. You're exist as these things that maybe seem contradictory to people who aren't like secure, open-minded in themselves. No judgment, okay? But so you have this energy, but I feel like the world really it pushes a lot of us to not let ourselves be our full selves, and we have to pick and choose which pieces of ourselves we show up as, or we do this or we do that, or and like obviously we show different parts of ourselves to different people, so that's healthy to have boundaries in that way. But this energy really feels like like, oh, I can't be all my things, or I have to edit or change, or I don't like this part of me, this disowned part of me. And then that, of course, results in this 8 of Swords, which is really about, that's the work of the limiting beliefs, is like when other people or society or media isn't even telling us that directly anymore, and we just keep that story running on our own. And that's really this Eight of Swords energy here. You see this person's tied up, but there's no one around them. The swords are just there by themselves. They can like just shake the bandage off and get going. So what I'm really hearing with this is like, in what ways are you trying to like downplay yourself or not give yourself like you're not letting yourself just be enough as you are, because you are. And so in what ways can you really like examine that and be like, oh, I don't have to keep playing this limiting belief about if I'm this thing, then I can't be this thing too, or if I'm into this thing, it means this thing about me, right? So I think this is really looking at how can you unlearn some of those things and remember you are good enough, you're full, you're complete, you are how you are on purpose. God makes us on purpose, and all of these things come together to kind of create this beautiful energy of who we are and how we show up in the world. And just knowing that, again, like a lot of people contain multitudes, but it's like they get pushed out of us, they get socialized out of us. So how can you hold on to that energy, and how can you continue to give yourself space or create the space and unlearn some of these limiting beliefs so that you can continue to just be like, this is who I am, this is all of me, I'm multidimensional, I'm into a lot of things, I have layers, I'm complicated, like I contain multitudes, and just giving yourself permission to be that, instead of being like, I'm only allowed to be this particular thing. And again, that's different than like, we need to have boundaries, we need to be different in different situations, like that's fine, but not letting those parts of you exist at all, that's what we're talking about here. Okay, I'm gonna pick some oracle cards for you, group 1. Look at this. So we have destruction. Okay, so just what I was talking about. Here, this image is, we got some eyes on here. So I feel like looking at yourself and just being like, okay, these are the ways that I felt like I had to exist in this certain way, or I could only be this certain thing, or I could only I can't be this and this. So kind of like deconstructing some of those limiting beliefs. And that's like no judgment, like we all get socialized and pushed into certain things, and we all get taught certain messages and all that. So this is just really like taking those down a notch and just being like, okay, I don't have to believe that anymore. This particular thing doesn't have to be true. What stories do I need to deconstruct in general and about myself to feel like more comfortable and free in who I am? Because, again, like these, we get these messages, and then it's up to us to unlearn them, and there's nothing wrong, it's just like that's part of life. We absorb all these things, and so like getting all of that out is like what we need to work on. Okay, then we have magic in the air. So again, I feel like this, like if this feels impossible, or this feels like I don't know where to start, I don't know how to do this, I don't know who I am, just remember, like one thing at a time, just start. When I'm talking, probably some things are coming up for you, so just trusting that, starting there, and really, trusting that there is magic in the air. There are these forces working for your highest good. There are all these things that are coming together to help you, and knowing that, you don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't need to, be like, oh, I have to get this perfectly, or else I won't do it. Just relax and do it. It's going to be uncomfortable. You have to test the waters a little bit, but there is magic in the air supporting you. Then we have open your heart, the red rose. Oh, how nice. Who doesn't like roses, right? Your potential for greater love rests in opening your heart. Blockages and wounds from your past will be healed, and you'll be met with the true passion you seek. So again, I feel like opening your heart, this is like the same energy of opening your heart to yourself, knowing you are enough on your own, knowing that you can allow this fullness of yourself to come into being. And like this card says, blockages and wounds from your past will be healed. You'll be met with the true passion you seek. When you decide to live as your true self, when you decide to really let, again, these like layers of who you are come to be, then you feel more authentic. These things feel more clear in your life, all of that. And so opening your heart, this beautiful energy of just letting yourself open your heart to even accepting yourself, to knowing you are enough, to knowing you can show up in like these kind, loving ways for yourself. Is really, that's part of what opening your heart is. It's opening your heart to yourself and letting yourself be enough, like we saw in the opening card for your reading. Okay, and I'll close with one Affirmation card. Oh, and last thing I want to say about being enough to, or opening your heart is like when you open your heart in one little way, like that's when the magic in the air can really happen. And that's when, like, when you just exist with your heart open, and again, not without boundaries, but you exist with your heart open and you just wander the world like that, then it's going to be easy for you to identify which things are for you, for things that are for you to find you, right? When you have a closed heart, you don't just close yourself off from like bad feeling things, you close yourself off from like love and abundance and care and things that are for you and your destiny and all of that. So opening your heart, is the win-win for most things in your life. Okay, then we have invoking self-realization. Every breath or each breath confirms how awake I already am. So again, I feel like even with this being enough, that's a really beautiful affirmation, but it's again just realizing like you don't have to like uncover this big giant, oh my God, what's the secret to my life? Who am I? All this stuff. This is really just saying, you're enough already. And when you just remember that and remember how awake you already are, like you already are that energy. You don't need to go out and find it. You don't need to try so hard. You don't need to force it. It's just more of like unlearning some of these limiting beliefs more than it is having this big, huge, giant epiphany of like, I need to change. I need to be this new thing. I need to, whatever. So each breath confirms how awake I already am. Very nice. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's for everyone who picked group number 2. So you all picked the card Courage. Divine courage is not the absence of fear, but a nudge that says, keep going, do it, don't worry, all will be well. You have to get quiet enough to hear it. Dear Divine, may I feel your courage and your will. So I think, let's just look at this first sentence again. Okay. Divine courage is not the absence of fear, but a nudge that says, keep going, do it, don't worry, all will be well. So again, I feel like courage is amazing. And it's kind of like overlooked, or it's like connected to this energy of like complete confidence and like I can do it and there's no doubt in my mind at all, right? But courage is actually like it's more about, especially when you don't feel courageous, especially when you don't feel confident, especially when you don't feel like, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna figure it out? It's just this energy of, if you are trying, if you are showing up, if you're continuing, that's courageous. It takes more courage to push yourself to do something, to be different, to try to make a change, to try to make a way, when you aren't feeling super courageous, when you aren't feeling proud of yourself, when you aren't feeling confident. It takes more strength to do that in that energy than in this energy of like, I feel great, I feel amazing, I'm on top of the world, I'm ready to show up, I'm ready to do anything, I can handle anything, right? When you're in that energy, it's easier to take action, it's easier to feel confident, it's easier to put yourself out there. So group 2, if you're struggling with something or just feeling like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready, I don't know if I have the strength or the courage or whatever, like just start, just push yourself a little bit through these things, and just remember that all of that is going to add up and all of that is going to help you. And just remembering that, again, like courage isn't, like this says very beautifully, it's not the absence of fear, it's like pushing yourself to do it anyway. And like obviously you don't want to push yourself all the way outside your comfort zone that you like shut down and die and can't handle anything. Okay. But this is the energy of like just pushing yourself little by little and knowing like that is what creates momentum. And the confidence comes after you complete the task. Sometimes we think like, well, when I feel confident, when I feel courageous, then I'll do it. But we actually build our confidence and our self-esteem and our belief in ourselves from taking actions and continuing to do that and allowing those things to add up. So this could be like maybe you're in a transitional time in your life and you're ready to move forward, or maybe this is in a specific area like a romantic relationship or a job or whatever's going on for you, right? You want to like get into that next little layer. This card is just a reminder that, just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep trying to find a way, keep figuring it out, having faith that you can figure it out along the way. You're not expected to be perfect. You're not expected to not feel fear. You're not expected to like, have no clue what's going on. You just are expected to keep going and trust that the pieces will fall in place and come together, and the way will be shown to you as you continue to keep moving. So again, like not feeling like, oh, well, I don't feel 100% ready, so I'm not going to do it. Like, here's a news flash. Most things we never feel 100% ready for, especially if they're going to serve us in a really big way. So finding that balance, and this is just your little nudge, group 2. If you've been feeling like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, or I don't know, just start, just take one little action, see what happens. and trust that all that is going to add up for you. Okay, I'm going to look at I'm going to pull some tarot cards for you. Wow. Beautiful. Okay, we have the Star, Queen of Wands, and the Ace of Cups. So, I mean, talk about abundant, powerful energy here. Okay, I think this is really beautiful. So, first thing I'm seeing in the Ace of Cups and the Star, there is like this overpour, these water pouring in both places. So, I feel like this courage here, connecting that to the Star and the Ace of Cups, is like there is abundance here. There is an overflow. I feel like you've been pouring into your own cup, you've been rebuilding your own resources, you've been nourishing yourself, and now it's time to let that flow outward into these other areas of life, these ways you want to grow and change. And that happens from you, trusting yourself, from moving forward, from taking action, from like a lot of this nourishment. The Star is a card about nourishment. It's a card about like, being filled up with yourself and letting that pour over and out into the world. And then Ace of Cups is also, so I feel like this is, okay, I just got a lot of what's okay. So this is like you have poured into yourself and that's overflowing into the world now. And then this is like you have poured into yourself spiritually, from your higher power, from the other side, from your ancestors, your guides, your God, I mean, whatever you believe in. And then that's overflowing in your life now too. So I feel like you've done a lot of that work between you and yourself and you and your spiritual practice. So it is time to trust the courage you built for yourself, the foundation you've laid, and you can move forward and change things for yourself. Because we also have the Queen of Wands, which regardless of your gender, this is queen energy. She did it, she made it, she's on her throne, she knows, she's built this confidence for herself. And so I think with this courage card too, we can think about like no matter how much we've accomplished or completed or things we've worked through in our life, right? When it's time to grow into that next layer of growth, all that stuff kind of doesn't matter, right? We still feel uncomfortable. We still feel like, oh my God, can I do this? We still feel like, there's a discomfort every time we go out of our comfort zone and we push ourselves to grow, no matter how many times we've done it before. So if you're feeling like, I don't know how to do this, or I did this before, but now why do I feel scared again? Just anytime it's something new, it's normal to not feel completely ready, no matter how much you've like accomplished before previously. Okay. So I think this is really saying, trust the ways you poured into yourself, trust the ways that you've developed your spiritual practice for yourself, your connection to yourself, protecting your own energy, and trust like that you've figured things out before. It might not be this exact thing, it might not be this exact scenario, but just again, think about how much you've done for yourself already and trusting that, and trusting, you can trust in your ability to, you can trust that you've earned your ability to trust yourself. Okay, we'll start with that. Okay, and then looking at some oracle cards for you. So for this one, the first one to come out is Paradox. So I feel like again, there's a lot of like most spiritual truths are paradoxical in nature, and this is one too. And so kind of just what I was just talking about, just this reminder of like, no matter how much you've completed in your life or how confident you feel and how many of these other things you've mastered or you feel like totally comfortable with, right? If your soul is here to grow and change and expand, you're always going to feel uncomfortable with that. So the paradox of like spiritual growth is that we never master we can never outgrow the human experience of feeling uncomfortable when it's time to do something different. We can only rely on our own inner strength. We can rely on the relationship we built with ourselves, the relationship we built with God, with our higher power, and all of that. But this paradox is the more we can never get out of the human experience of feeling like, okay, how do I how do I feel super confident all the time about everything? Okay, people feel nervous no matter how accomplished they are or how, whatever, whenever we do something new and go out of our comfort zone, this comes up. So that paradoxical energy again is really about like trusting that and trusting that there's nothing wrong. If you feel nervous from doing something new, guess what? Everyone does. That's part of the human experience. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong, or it doesn't mean, you're not courageous. If you feel like that, it just means, again, that's part of life. Okay, then we have illuminate the darkness. So I feel like this is, again, shining some light on yourself. We have, I think that's nice with the Star card, a good matching energy here of just remembering, like, you can tell these stories. It's okay to have fear, and you can bring that to the light. You can bring that within yourself, and you don't have to be like, oh my God, I'm never going to figure it out. I'm never going to get out of this. I'm never going to, whatever. You can really bring that story. You can hold yourself to how do I want to say this? You can let yourself feel supported, and you can let yourself feel that fear story and really look at it instead of feeling like shame around it, right? So illuminate the darkness. I think this is really talking about you're allowed to look at, oh, I feel shamed about this thing, but it's like, oh, do I need to feel shamed about that? Like, no, you can bring that, the darkness, the fear story, the shadow self, to the light, and just kind of know that it's okay for you to feel how you feel, and you can trust that, all these things again are working in tandem with each other. And it's, it doesn't mean just because you don't feel 100% confident and clear about everything doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Okay, then we have time to decide, wisteria, flower, beautiful. Make a decision now so you can move forward. Okay, so I got a little card that's just like, let's go. All right, so I feel like if you, again, this courage card is just about making the decision and then moving forward and being like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm committed to. This is what feels right for me. Even if it doesn't feel like totally comfortable for yourself, like just knowing that once you make the decision and you take one right action, one foot in front of the other, like that's going to build momentum and that's going to add up. And so that's more important than being like, oh, I can't make the decision because I'm not ready, because I don't feel totally whatever. It's just like, sometimes you just got to take the leap of faith and know that you'll figure it out on the way down or once you get there, or, any and all of the above. It's important to just make that decision, and then figure it out and fine tune and adjust the decision. But it doesn't mean that, like sitting on the fence sometimes doesn't help anyone. So I'm just time to just make the choice and get moving. Okay, then we have one affirmation card to close your reading. So encountering conflict, I don't choose sides, I take a stand. Again, I mean, crystal clear. Crystal clear here for you guys. You don't have to choose sides. You don't have to say, well, I'm not courageous, so I can't do this. You can just say, I'm going to do this. It's time to move forward. It's time for me to make this happen. The end. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 3. So I'll pick the card Self-Acceptance. Nothing is more exhausting than endlessly working on yourself. When you offer your whole being fully to love, self-acceptance arises spontaneously. May I rest in our oneness, dear divine. So yeah, I think this is making a really important distinction between, you definitely can get addicted to self-help or self-work or self-improvement or whatever, right? Like sometimes we think, oh, I need to fix this thing about myself. But a lot of times what we're really looking for within ourselves is self-acceptance. And when we have that and we can recognize it as that, then it's not as important to, be like, oh, I have to fix this thing about myself. I have to this, I have to that, I have to whatever, right? There's a lot of fixing that kind of goes away when we look at accepting ourselves. And that doesn't mean, when we accept ourselves that, oh, I stopped growing, I stopped trying to be different, I stopped trying to, continue my soul searching to reach these new goals in my life, to all this, right? All that doesn't go away once we accept ourselves. But the ego sometimes can make us feel like that. So self-acceptance is more about looking at, okay, is this something that like I really need to like fix or change about myself? And sometimes it is, but we actually can't even do that until we accept ourselves. So a lot of these things go away or lose some of their pressure or don't feel as intense when we do realize, okay, I can I don't have to like work on I'm not flawed. I'm not fundamentally flawed. There's nothing wrong with me. Like, again, we can grow and change and we can be better and we can unlearn certain things and all of this, but there's nothing like wrong with you as a person. And when you accept that and understand that, then again, a lot of this fixing energy kind of doesn't feel as urgent or doesn't feel as like, this is what I have to do in these ways. So the self-acceptance again, nothing is more exhausting than endlessly working on yourself, right? When you're in that mindset, then you're in that place of like, okay, I just have to do one more course and then I'll love myself, or I just have to be this certain weight, or I have to hit this certain fitness goal, or I have to have this certain diet, or I have to live in this certain place, or I have to whatever. And like, again, it's healthy to have those goals. It's healthy to want to grow and change into these certain things. But if you decide like I can't love myself or I'm not worthy of things until those things happen, like that's where the issue is. That's where it's, not the the most loving way to exist within yourself. So this card is really also saying too that like, when you connect to the oneness, when you feel that unlimited gentleness, kindness, and unlimited love that your higher power, God, has for us, then it's easier to move into that acceptance of self because we see, oh, like God loves me completely as I am, which again doesn't excuse away you being like a, not a good person or treating people like not well, right? But this is just saying like when you can tap into that unlimited love, then that can change a lot of the conversation with yourself as well. So again, looking at this self-acceptance as like acceptance is the answer. It's step one of everything. It's the answer to all your problems. It's once you accept these things about yourself, then you can kind of take the pressure off and be like, oh, I can grow and change. I can be different. I can have these, certain things happening for me. Because again, some of this like pressure has been removed in a certain way. Okay, I'm going to pick 3 tarot cards for you guys, group 3. Okay, so we have the 3 of Swords, Page of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. So I feel like, yeah, this self-judgment, group 3, and it could be in general, just general vibes between you and yourself, or it could be like about a specific part in your life. It could be, your career, or your romantic life, or your relationship with yourself, or whatever. If it's a specific area, this is really breaking your heart. This is the card of heartbreak. This is the card of like, obviously feeling like you're being stabbed in the heart with certain things. So I feel like this, you not accepting yourself and you continuing to reject yourself and push yourself away, that is that's really hurting you. It's really harming you. And so I think with the self-acceptance, when you try to do that, this is going to give you this beautiful new little energy, right? This Page of Pentacles is like a new seed. It's the birth of a new idea, a new way of being. So like enough with this and moving into that energy and moving into this space of like, okay, God, please make me willing to accept myself. Please help me be willing to accept myself, right? You can say, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though whatever, I choose to love and accept myself. Even though I might not feel like it, I choose to love and accept myself. And just saying those affirmations, putting your hand on your heart, offering yourself some kindness and some love and care. And just remembering that, like, this is even, it's not going to feel immediate. It's not going to feel natural right away, right? There are things that do take time, and you can't go like, if you're saying one story, you can't go to the complete opposite and expect yourself to believe it right away, right? That's not what I'm asking you to do, but this is really just knowing like you can start a new story with just one little affirmation, one little thing, one little whatever, just paying a little bit of attention to the ways you might be judging yourself, and then trusting that that is going to grow into this Knight of Pentacles. So I think if you just start with, these 1 or 2 little affirmations, that's going to grow into this energy of the Knight of Pentacles. And we see the Knight of Pentacles, this Knight of the tarot is really it's kind of, it's not a running knight like some of the other ones. So just trust that if your self-acceptance process feels slow or doesn't feel the best or doesn't feel like, oh, is anything even happening, because I doesn't really feel like it, right? You can have faith in yourself that things are happening, things are changing, and knowing that growth can be gradual. And when you're really trying to accept yourself, when you're really trying to make a long-term relationship with yourself have a lot of depth and care and kindness, it's going to take time to build that relationship. You're not going to like do it overnight, right? Easy come, easy go. So just trusting that energy and trusting like, you can stop breaking your own heart. Life is hard enough, so you might as well give yourself some love and care and some compassion with those things as well, instead of continuing to play into like this judgment of self. And trust, like, again, this isn't a immediate fix. Some of these things take time, and it takes surrender and gentleness to accept yourself and to do that. But you can you can get there, and just trusting, even if it's a slow process, it's still a process, and not doing the process isn't gonna make it happen any faster, right? Okay, so I'm gonna pick some oracle cards for you. So the first one to come out, boundaries. So I feel like this is really big boundaries against yourself. Okay. You see that? Okay. So boundaries against yourself. So what does this mean? So again, how am I talking to myself? And am I accepting myself? Am I being kind to myself? Am I judging myself? Am I being harsh to myself? Am I compassionate? So this to me really feels like boundaries between you and you, and boundaries between like, okay, why do I feel the need to be so harsh to myself? Why do I feel the need to whatever, right? This boundaries card is really about, again, kind of holding yourself accountable to talk to yourself in a way that is loving, that is kind, that is accepting. Again, of course, self-acceptance here, group 3, this is the big theme for you guys, but trusting, that boundaries is there for a reason, and that is really going to, when you hold that boundary within yourself, it's going to become more practiced and feel more natural over time. But having the boundary to, again, really honor yourself is a, um that's how we start with self-acceptance, just changing the way we talk to ourselves, the way we view ourselves, the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves. So looking at that as a boundary. And then we have the supply is infinite. I love this card. It's such a nice little affirmation. And so again, just a reminder that like no matter how many times you need to practice, like I've been trying to do this intentionally for many, many, many years, and I still have to catch myself and be like, oh no, that wasn't very kind or compassionate to me to say to myself, right? So the supply is infinite means you can always keep learning, you can always keep unlearning, you can always push yourself to these next layers. You can allow yourself to, find your way, to fumble, to figure it out. But just remember, like God's love is infinite for us, and God accepts us always. And so knowing that the supply is infinite means that you have the option and the opportunity to rewrite that story, to change something, to tap into that loving, gentle, kind energy for yourself, as much as you want to, instead of, again, feeling like, oh, I didn't, I ran out, so I can't try again, right? That's not, it's the good news about being accepting and kind and loving to yourself is you can't run out of that energy for yourself. Oh, look at this. You are healed. Okay. So this is the pot marigold flower. You are healed. The healing you've prayed for is on its way. So I feel like this is, again, just remembering like we're not in control of so much in life, but we are in control of how compassionate and kind and loving we are to ourselves. And so if you want your life to be different, if you want these things to add up and be different in your life, right, you are healed. Just the healing you've prayed for is on its way. Like God is, we can't see everything. God always does stuff for us that we have no clue what's going on. Things are lining up, things are working out, whatever. But this is just a reminder that, we can, in the meantime, can I be kind? Am I being kind? Am I being compassionate? Am I being gentle with myself? Right. So this is just a nice little affirmation. God's taking care of you, even if it doesn't feel like it, even if it's not our timeline or our way or our whatever, right? But the healing you prayed for does start with self-acceptance, and it does start with cultivating like this deep, loving, gentle relationship with yourself. Okay, I'm going to close with one affirmation card. Resolving anger. Conflict reminds me when I need more space for myself. So I think in relation to, here's the front of the card. In relation to this reading, I feel like what I'm getting with this is like, stop being angry at yourself. Okay. So you can just be like, oh, why did I act like that? I was so stupid. I was so whatever, right? Can we remove that? And can we give ourselves some self-acceptance, right? So conflict reminds me I need more space for myself. So that's obviously with conflict with other people or situations that don't feel the best. But this also to me feels like when you want to go to that place of being like not kind or gentle or patient with yourself, that's when you can do a little reset. That's when you can tap into like the supply is infinite energy. And that's when you can, give yourself a little bit more self-acceptance instead of, takes practice, but instead of getting angry at yourself right away, just being like, oh, what was that about? Can I tune into like some gentleness for myself? Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 4. So you all pick the card Truth. When everything is done as an offering, even the act of speaking, you get shown when to talk and when to be silent. Your words come from silence, not fear. You do the talking, dear Lord. Take me over and speak through me. So this card is telling you to shut the hell up. No, I'm just kidding. This card is really just looking at, you know, we need to examine the ways that we communicate. What am I communicating? What's going on? All this. So, uh, when everything is done as an offering, even the act of speaking, you get shown when to talk and when to be silent. Sometimes we just go on autopilot, and as an extroverted external processor, I have to, pay attention to myself with these things, okay? But it's important to remember that sometimes we just talk, but we're saying like, do I need to say this? And so sometimes we think we can just say whatever we want and edit it to whoever we want, or we think we can do these things that don't like consider other people, or don't allow us to really take into consideration the other person. We're so focused on, I have to talk now, and I have to speak my truth, and I have to do this, which again, we want to be heard. But remember, it's not just about us. It's about connecting with other people. It's about remembering like, okay, if this is like a reciprocal relationship, then it's important for me to be mindful of how I'm showing up. What am I saying? How am I saying it? All of these things, and not just like, I need to get what I need to say out and that's it, and I'm not considering anyone else. So it's important to remember, like when you are speaking your truth, honoring that and letting yourself speak your truth, but knowing like, you don't we need to be mindful of how we're speaking it, and with our tone of voice, and with who, and all these things, right? It's not just only about um oh, I need to be saying my truth. It's like being mindful, being accountable with all of that, and just remembering like, again, am I talking just to talk, or is this actually important, or is this, and kind of like sorting through those things, and really in questioning and interrogating, like, am I talking just to hear my own voice, or to, affirm this thing to myself, or to whatever, like really looking at your intentions and holding yourself accountable, because that is really what makes or breaks so many relationships. Because even no matter what you're doing in physical reality, your energy behind it is always attached to it. And people can always feel that, no matter, what you're claiming one way or another. Okay, I'm going to look at some oracle or your tarot cards. I'm going to pick 3 tarot cards for you. Interesting. Okay, so we have the 4 of Wands, the World, and the 3 of Pentacles. So I feel like this truth energy can really be about like maybe someone close to you, romantic relationship, family, close friendship, something, really looking at how can you like kind of tweak and fine tune and just change maybe some of these small ways in your dynamics, just to create more harmony. It doesn't really feel like in these cards that there's like a big giant conflict going on or anything like that. But this, this card coming out is about like a portal to the next level. It's about a happy family. It's about whatever family is for you. It doesn't have to be blood family, of course. It's about really connecting to that, and really just being okay, if this is like the harmony I want in my life, how can I contribute to that with, owning my truth in a way that is loving and kind and gentle and helpful, instead of like, this is this and all this stuff, like how can I do that? And then the World here, this card is very beautiful. It is about the end of a cycle. So maybe it is letting go of like the need to be right, or letting go of like, I communicate in this way and this is the only way I communicate and nobody can tell me anything different, right? So it can be that, or it can be, letting go of like, I have to protect myself in this dynamic or in this thing. Like, can you just let go of a way you used to communicate that you learned as a survival technique, or like a maladaptive coping technique, which, no judgment, we all have those. I have plenty. I've had to unlearn and still am unlearning. But this energy is really about, can you let those things go? Can you let the cycle be complete so you can have harmony? And then again, this 3 of Pentacles is really beautiful. This is about like working with people around you, having healthy relationships, healthy teamwork with certain things. So I feel like for, again, with this truth card, like when you are speaking as an offering, when your words come from a place of like, this is trying to contribute and not just to like say something or pick a fight or do this or do that, when you really look at creating this harmony and being accountable for your role in it, and knowing that, okay, this is both of us working together to create a healthy dynamic, to create peace for ourselves, to create something in a way that feels good for us. Like, this is really comes from the way that you hold yourself accountable and that you show up, right? Change starts with you, right? When you come together in relationship with someone, no matter if it's romantic or platonic or whatever, there's your energy and their energy, and then your energy together. And so that's why when you're different, that's why the whole energy can change, because, and you can't control them, right? But when you're a little bit different, when you put down, when you don't want to fight, when you put your ego down, right, that can change and create space for a more peaceful, loving dynamic, because you and that person are like working together to have that energy connected. So this is really saying to me with this truth card, just really thinking like, really looking at, you know, what do I feel like I need to defend and why? What am I fighting against? What am I keeping alive? And how I communicate that I don't need to anymore, really looking at that. And again, if harmony is my goal, do I want to be happy or do I want to be right? Like, do I need to get this little jab for my ego, or can I just be like, I don't need to say that. I don't need to have the last word. I don't need to pick a fight or say this backhanded thing or fall into this old pattern of things, right? Like, I can choose to be different, and I can choose to show up in a different way that changes the whole dynamic for everyone, regardless of, whatever else is going on around you. Okay, I'm going to pick some oracle cards for you. Ask your body. Very beautiful. So when we talk about these maladaptive coping techniques, or we talk about, some of these patterns that have been around for a long time, a lot of times we create them because, not because we're bad or stupid, but it's because it's the way that our body felt like we could be safe. And so you can ask your body, like, hey, thank you for doing this. We want to let it go now. We want to grow past this. So can you be safe? Can you be present? Can you remember we're right here, right now? We're this age, not this age. We're in this setting, not this setting, right? So asking your body to be present, asking your body to let go of some of these dynamics, and, really giving yourself permission to feel, um, feel safe and feel like, can you change? Can you change with me? Can I let this go? Can I be different? Can I give myself space in my body to release, to relax, to, get to this other place? So just asking, getting back in your body and just saying, really examining, like, does this serve me anymore? Is this a pattern I want to keep going? Is this something I can let go of and create space for something new? So just really working with your body here, not fighting against it. And just remembering, some of these techniques really, they're old, and it's okay to outgrow them, and it's okay that they serve their purpose, and then, you can move on from that. So asking your body, and also your body wisdom, right? Like saying, like, okay, what do I think I'm getting from this thing that doesn't actually, I don't want to be doing? Or what do I think I'm getting from this dynamic if I do this, right? And instead just being like, this is actually what I want to do, and this is the way I want to do it. And so just asking your body, like working with your body to create a new dynamic, instead of, like contributing to this old one over and over again when you don't want to anymore. Oh, look at this. Then we have your heart knows the way. So this is really beautiful, and just a reminder that, like, if you can feel like you've been itching to let go of a certain pattern, or to release something or let something go, your heart knows the way. Your heart wants peace. Your heart wants safety. Your heart wants, being in communion in a loving way, wants harmony. Okay, so trusting that, and trusting that, like, it might be scary to put down, um, some of these like patterns that you've had for a long time, but remembering the other side of that, the peace you'll get out of that will be worth it very much. Okay, so trusting your heart, trusting if it's time to grow into some gentleness for yourself. Look at this. Then we have unity, hibiscus. You're spiritually connected to everyone through God. Use the sacred bond to heal your family, friends, and yourself. So this is what I was talking about before too, of like, you are responsible for your energy in a relationship, and the minute you decide to stop fighting, or be a little more gentle, or be a little more, whatever, then that gives everyone in the dynamic permission to change, right? Like, again, you can't control anyone, and you don't do this to control someone else. But if your goal is to stop fighting, then you stop fighting first. And sometimes the other person, wants to fight, and so you have to evaluate that and all these things. But this is really looking at, okay, if I really want unity and peace and harmony here, what can I do within myself to show up and be a little bit different in the dynamic? And then, just embody that energy of what it means to, like, okay, peace begins with me. What am I going to do? Like, safety begins with me. Like, all of these things begin with me. So how can I use my power and my agency and what I have access to be, a little bit different, and be loving and kind in a way that is beneficial for everyone. Okay, then we have opening my mind. This is closed with your affirmation card. I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and actions, or my beliefs and ideas and actions, I guess, that need to be said because it just came out. But this is again really that energy of being different. Okay, so what I'm hearing for you guys, group 4, is like it's time to be different, and you have to give yourself permission. You have to push yourself into this new way of being, and you have to be the one to be like, I don't want to fight anymore. I'm not fighting. I don't want to gossip anymore. I'm not gossiping. I don't want to talk about this thing anymore that we're never going to resolve. I'm not doing that, right? I don't want to fall into these old patterns. So I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas. So who would you be if you weren't doing those things? Who would you be if those weren't part of your whatever, right? And so just really trusting that, and giving yourself permission to imagine, who could I be if I'm not these things? Because sometimes the only reason we hold on to something is because we're like, who am I without that? Who would I be without these certain things, these certain characteristics, whatever? So again, giving yourself permission to see beyond those, and having faith that you can grow and expand into like a new version of yourself. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Happy 9/9. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.